In a universe of marvelousness, fabulousness, and stunning big name show, we've revealed a story that will leave you as eager and anxious as can be. Have the gossipy tidbits about Marjorie's unfaithfulness been affirmed? Has her girl Lori agreed with her mom's stance in her folks' struggle? It's getting increasingly fascinating. However, hold tight. Simply the manner in which you figured the show couldn't raise. Twitter is satellite with mumbles about Marjorie not simply halting at these supposed ventures. Goodness, no. She's equipping to hand Steve the feared separate from order with expectations to take a cool half of his tremendous wealth and the clincher. In all honesty, her little girl, Lori, is by all accounts tossing conceal at Steve, implying he's the purpose for Marjorie's alleged disloyalty. Stand by. Our ears deluding us? Is Lori truly pointing fingers at Steve? Goodness, God. This OK expects those limping along on the big name T. Here is a speedy rewind. The buzz encompassing Steve Harvey and Marjorie's association isn't precisely new. While they've been extending this picture of conjugal heaven, there's been ceaseless gab implying that not all things are as truly flawless behind their rich drapes and darlings. The sensations we've been hearing of late just momentous. Matt. Marjorie, what Marjorie isn't letting you know on everyone? Alright, presently, don't allow me to begin telling Steve. A huge number of insiders have been letting the cat out of the bag, offering a few enticing experiences. They guarantee that Marjorie probably won't have been the encapsulation of reliability, in any event, alluding to Steve's own protector and their gourmet specialist as her undercover blazes. Be that as it may, this is the thing makes our jaws hit the floor. Steve, popular for doling out relationship shrewdness, once spouted to Individuals magazine about the seismic shift Marjorie brought to his adoration life. He was cited saying, "Marjorie fundamentally altered the manner in which I existed. I'd never been in a sound grown-up relationship. I'd never been faithful. I'd never been completely regarded." The sheer catch-22 of him drilling down into such close battles at this crossroads is faltering. Kindly welcome the chick of my fantasies, my significant other, Marjorie. Steve Harvey and Marjorie Harvey's romantic tale is one for the ages. They previously grabbed each other's eye during the 1990s when Steve was performing at a parody gig. Alright, child, what? Did I meet you? Goodness, first time we met. Memphis. Where? At a parody club. Marjorie at first wavered as Steve was all the while figuring out his funds. However, Steve continued until Marjorie at long last yielded. It was an exemplary love at first giggle story for us, says Steve. Marjorie had recently been associated with men who sold substances and humored her with rich belongings. Steve, who was then a ruined humorist, was at first not great to her. By the by, Steve was fruitful in prevailing upon her. However, their relationship was muddled, both were hitched to others when they met. Steve was hitched to Mary Shackelford, who had put her life investment funds into his parody vocation, and Marjorie had proactively been hitched 2 times. Lock in, dears, since this adoration adventure among Steve and Marjorie Harvey has much more shameful layers. Marjorie's most memorable marriage was to Jim Townsend, the dad of her initial 2 youngsters. Jim was captured while Marjorie was pregnant with their subsequent kid, Jason. Yet, am frustrated in Marjorie on the grounds that you don't sell out to family. So Steve might dump you very much as he did Mary. The following day, Marjorie denied being engaged with his criminal tasks, and Jim consented to a request arrangement to get Marjorie far from lawful issues. Not long after Marjorie petitioned for legal separation. Then she wedded Darnell Woods, who was thought to be Lori's natural dad. Yet, Darnell was additionally imprisoned, and Marjorie finished the marriage. That is the reason Individuals' eyebrows are raised when the discussion of Marjorie's free ethics surfaces. It's like, truly, young lady. How could you be like that? Hypotheses of Marjorie's faithlessness were ignited when she began participating in dubious exercises like vanishing for a really long time with not a great reason that, matched with her previously realized plotlines, had tongues. A cart. Investigating Steve and Marjorie's relationship, denying the tycoon's undying affection for his wife is hard. All things considered, with all the cash he's given her, it'd be a genuine smack in the face in the event that she chose to kick him to the control. Notwithstanding the murmurs and the potential for terrific show, Steve and Marjorie are as yet pushing ahead. Being dazzled by the financial specialist's commitment to his wonderful bride is almost unthinkable not. Up until this point, he remained by her during tempting times and in doing so demonstrated that cash can't purchase a superior love, even in Hollywood. I met her 86-87 when the tune emerged. Then, at that point, God gave her back to me in 2005. From the day Marjorie reconnected with Steve, it's been only going great. He permitted all her the extravagant way of life she was acclimated with and upheld her kids like they were his own. For the vast majority, this exhibited Steve's outright commitment for his significant other. In any case, bits of gossip about Marjorie's supposed disloyalty have been overflowing. This has prompted a lot of doubt and theory about whether Marjorie adequately responds her better half's adoration or on the other hand in the event that she's just groveling for his cash. Truth be told, Steve likewise had a seriously turbulent past, which incorporates a few connections. In the most natural-sounding way for him, he admitted to individuals that it resembled being brought back to life when Marjorie came into his life. Apparently Cupid's bolt came from a startling spot, explicitly Steve's guardian, who persuaded his supervisor to try the relationship out. As Steve reviewed the protector who might out of nowhere end up being that very sweetheart later on, told him, "Look, the possibly time I've at any point seen you cheerful was the point at which you were with that lady, Marjorie. Presently, before you proceed to accomplish something inept and wed another lady, I'm calling her." To be sure, this family show has every one of the components of a delicious detailed story. Supposedly, a similar man who revived Marjorie and Steve's sentiment is exactly the same man Marjorie has been as of late getting comfortable with. The tattle factory began to buzz, and things moved rapidly with netizens spilling tea out of control, barely caring about tossing conceal at Steve or Marjorie. Yet, hold the mimosas in light of the fact that accordingly, Steve moved forward and stood up to disprove the outlandish cases. Not having any desire to be eclipsed, Marjorie likewise joined the discussion, posting a message on Instagram that was determined in getting down on the flightiness of those spreading pernicious falsehoods. As she composed, "My better half and I don't generally stop to address the absurdity and falsehoods that have been all spread about us. Nonetheless, to whom much is given, a lot is required. Also, right when you figured the show couldn't get any spicier, we have one more contort in the plot, sweethearts. It appears to be that Lori, the remarkable girl of Marjorie, is totally smoldering with. Much thanks to you for tuning in and going along with us on this wild ride through the captivating universe of VIP bits of gossip. Assuming you partook in this video, try to hit that buy-in button and crush that like button. Remember to turn on warnings so you never pass up the most recent updates. Until sometime later, remain inquisitive, remain engaged, and keep those remarks coming. Harmony out.